This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
The following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network.
On this edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr., we welcome the 2024 PBA Playoffs Champion David "BOOG" Krol back to the show. BOOG became a two-time national champion and put on a show for the ages this past Sunday. We'll talk about where he started this season, how it felt to win 2 titles this year, and we'll talk about what he wants for his future in the sport of bowling. Plus, we will have the Imbecile of the Week. Let's do this. Let's get ready. Let's frickin' go. Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. starts now.
This is PBA champion Kyle Troop.
Hey y'all, Jacob Uttrup here.
Jeff Riggles here from 11thframe.com.
Hey guys, Chuck Ritchie here, formerly of Bowl TV.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Schaefer of track staff at Valley Bowling Center in Waverly, New York.
And you're listening to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Yo, the boys from Straight Up 5, Rad Rob, Dr Ocho, and of course JP Jr.
Pick it out. Fear the fro, baby.
Welcome to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. A hard-hitting, in-depth, cutting-edge look into the world of bowling. This podcast will not only cover all things bowling, but will also give you a raw look into real-life issues. You'll get unfettered access into the mind of one of the most gifted bowlers of this or any other generation.
Strike, and they claim it. Similarly, he does it.
So without further ado, let's introduce you to the hosts of the show. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Dr Ocho. Dr Ocho. And the incomparable Johnny Petraglia Jr. Johnny Petraglia Jr.
On this edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr., we welcome the 2024 PBA Playoffs Champion David "BOOG" Krol back to the show. You know, if I didn't suck at my job, well, that's just one less thing I would suck at. Good evening, everybody. I was in a hurry to edit that. I've been a very, very busy boy. Welcome to Straight Up 5. This is episode number 117. I am your host, barely, Rad Rob, Rob Francois. We got Crambone in the house, Kyle Michalowski in the house, Mike Ruther, hello, hello. Billy M, what's going on, brother? Peacow, what's going on, guys? Thanks for being here. Ooh, this is going to be a good show. Despite my sucky-ass editing and my my intros, which I always get criticized for by the man I'm about to bring in first. He is the number 2 here. He's already flexing. It figures. He has the shiniest mask in the world, even though it's very ugly. I wish he'd go back to his old mask. Somebody told me he wears multiple masks during the show. I don't see it. I don't understand. I've never seen that. He has the largest guns on this podcast. He is the resident doctor of Straight Up 5. It is Dr. Tits McGee Ocho. What's going on, Och?
I don't know what mask you guys are talking about, so we kind of need to get over this.
Not sure what's going on. What mask? I'm changing masks. Rob, your green screen is so good that you're in Clearwater, aren't you?
I am not in Clearwater. Do you read Facebook at all?
I don't know how to read. I have an interpreter.
Happy birthday, Nicole.
I'm an Ocho Libre. Happy birthday, Nicole.
Johnny didn't tell you I didn't make the trip. Apparently he didn't either.
Your green screen's amazing. Don't let them fool you. He's down there. He's having a grand old time. It's got to be it.
Michael Jennings, what's going on? Oh, that's very, very sweet of you. Love what you're doing for bowling. Well, we appreciate that. Stangman's also in the house. All right. Where's the guy next to you? Oh, over here.
I don't have one. I got to make a pit stop here because I'm just going to, here we go.
He's got the fresh cut from last week. He's got the Rangers jersey going on. Johnny Petraglia Jr. What's going on, JP?
I mean, I feel kind of bad about rocking the Rangers jersey since I'm actually a diehard Golden Knights fan. But
diehard. 3 years
in the
league.
Yeah,
diehard.
Not diehard.
3 years in the league.
All right, go kiss. You know what? He's right. He's actually right. So, and I also felt like it accented my fantastic golf tan. So, I figured I'd rock the Rangers jersey today.
There's nothing you can't pull off, JP. I mean, you're just a sexy man. That's all.
Well, thank you very much, Bolton. I appreciate that. And I love that we're live while the Johnny Petraglia BVL Open is going on and Troy Lint is on the show.
Yes, that's really, really cool. Did you see Ryan Schaefer's recent post a couple hours ago?
About not wanting to bowl anything other than one more event. I did read it. Oh, wait a minute. Stunna, Jason Statina, bro. Great to see you here, my friend. I did try to give you a call. I'm not going to announce any business, but love you to death, dude, and always here, dude, and thank God. So
agreed.
Love you, brother.
Moselle. My friend.
Yeah, I did see his post. Ryan's always been very, very real and just to the point. I saw that he lost in the second round. I knew that earlier in the week he had expressed his not discomfort, his disagreement with the format as far as re-oiling for the tour, the best of 3 matches, as opposed to not oiling for an entire block and forcing everybody to a specific zone, which I happily agreed with. I'm not sure if the format was what caused the residue of his post, but at least if it is, it's consistent with whatever he had going on. So
yeah, I agree. It's unfortunate. I mean, Ryan's still bowling great. But it is what it is. I mean,
Ryan's been bowling great for his entire bowling career, and that's never going to change. But if he's going to make an executive decision to leave the tour, whether it's this reason or that reason, whether it's the fact that, I don't know, the pins fall differently on strings or the formats or the re-oiling, and, it's to each his own. So
yeah,
I don't actually – I mean, we all love Ryan here, especially on this show. So whatever choice he makes, I mean, it's sad that we're not going to give it – if he sticks to what he actually wrote, it's kind of sad that we're not going to be able to see as much of him because he's a pleasure to watch bowl. Always has been.
He really is. James Ellingsworth says, sucks that Troy – looks like it hurt his knee in the second match and lost after shooting 260 first game. Just an ongoing thing that Troy just...
it's part of me, like, obviously I always feel for Troy because I know how hard he works, but in the same respect, I wish I could have that many physical issues and still be one of the best players in the world.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
It's like all he has time to do is bowl and manage all of his ailments, and then he goes out and he still performs better than anybody.
Wins the Player of the Year on one leg. It's just, it's pretty remarkable.
He's a one hell of an egg and one hell of a dude, and as always wish Troy well. I'm kind of embarrassed that, other than knowing the 5 absolute studs that are on my dad's telecast, I actually didn't watch anything after qualifying. I was Rob, you and I were both supposed to be there, which, by the way, I'm assuming at least all of our followers read your post, and a lot of people, when somebody brings up, whether it's PTSD, whether it's paranoia, whether it's whatever it is that you suffer with, I certainly understand as well. So wishing you well, number one. I actually should have started there. I did try and reach out to you and then allowed Tuesday Night Bowling to interfere with responding any more than I normally would.
That's fine.
But it's pretty cool that at least you can take something out of it. And the thing that I see is the outpouring of love that you got from brand new friends just by simply being you. So we all wish you well, and we never want anybody to be uncomfortable in any situation. And so just sending you some love, brother.
I appreciate it, man. I really do. Appreciate everything that you do for me. And I love our audience. I love all our new friends. So I do appreciate everyone reaching out and
yeah, man.
Trying to pick me up. So, all right, we got Boog here in the waiting room. And of course I have a lengthy video to play, but it's good.
You know what? With what that kid has done this year, play that shit, dude.
Let's go.
Play that shit. Let's go.
By the way, guys, Dave Krol, I've just been told, is a senior in high school.
That'll buy a lot of school lunches right there. Certainly will.
All right, here we go, guys. Here's the scenario. He needs a strike on this ball, or we're carrying it on to the next round.
What do you think, Timmy?
I'll tell you what, to bet against that rev rate and that two-handed style, you might have been watching Jason Belmonte a lot in the last couple of weeks, picking up some coin too.
For the cheese.
That's pretty good, guys.
Boogie Nights takes home the title at the 2014 TAT February Roto Grip Challenge.
$5,000.
The Booger.
Good job, bro. $5,000 for the Boogeyman. Guys, thanks for having me on down here. It's been fantastic.
What about a wrap-up interview there?
See if we can talk to Boogie. Just want to get you on camera here. Turn around and talk to the camera. Tell us what you're feeling, what you're thinking. You were a big favorite this week, or in this this event, and a lot of guys picked you to get down to the final. Senior in high school, is that right? Well, this money go a long way. Tell me what you're feeling right now. How does that feel to throw a strike to win $5,000?
This feels great to win my first adult thing. Oh my God, I can't even explain it right now.
As you guys can see, Dave Krol, the Boogeyman, the youngsters at a loss for words, real happy. Tell us how you feel about throwing that Roto Grip to range. How'd that feel in your hand?
Oh, it felt awesome. The last 12 games I've shot with it have been awesome.
There you have it. You like your chances in the main event as well?
I think so right now.
Feeling high. The guys at loss for words. Congratulations, Dave Krol. Well done, buddy. Back to you guys.
Electing to go first. On the right with that lock.
It was almost interrupted, but still has enough on it to take the 10 out. Now O'Neal must strike.
To strike to stay alive. David Krol is moving on to the finals. The satisfying moment of the match is sponsored by Snickers. Nothing satisfies. Love the Snickers. With his buddy Kevin Williams talking with him. David Krol has a moment of satisfaction. What it looked like.
A month ago at the U.S. Open, Dino Castillo told me about this young man. He said, watch out for Boog. I'm like, Boog? Who's Boog? He pointed him out. I watched David bull some at that event, and I said, wow, this kid's impressive. But he had a lot of really good things go his way today, and you have to have that to win on the tour.
He won 3 PBA regionals last year.
That's it.
David Krol is your Delaware Classic champion, and Boog is a first-time PBA champion. The 2024 PBA season continues in 2 weeks.
He told us yesterday, I'm just some schmuck trying to fulfill a dream. Well, Boog Krol, you are the American dream playing out on the PBA Tour. From a pre-tournament qualifier to the PBA Playoffs Finals. Come on. Krol delivers.
Great shot.
Sean Swanson was his mentor.
He has a tattoo that says "Never Give Up" on his arm, and he just said, "Sean, this is for you."
David Boog Krol, the biggest moment of his life. That's right. All hard. Thank you. All hard, man. Boog is cold-blooded. Let's go. The satisfying moment of the match is sponsored by Snickers. Nothing satisfies like a Snickers.
And there's no greater satisfaction than the one this man has right now. He bet on himself.
From pre-tournament qualifier, the back of the kitchen at his bowling center to PBA Tour Playoffs Champion. Thank you. Thank you. Holy smokes.
The season, the fighting to get through the PTQs, winning a title, the nickname Booglin, going broke, but who cares? You threw it unbelievable today, and a much well-deserved win. What's going through your head right now?
Just, this year's been insane, an incredible run. Never thought this would happen.
If we go back to January, I was bowling the RPI in Vegas, and now I'm the playoffs champion, going through all the PTQs. I even missed a PTQ, so I didn't even bowl in Anderson, and I missed that PTQ. I got through everything else besides that one, and then Delaware I led and won Delaware. But to be here right now, it's honestly insane.
You mentioned Sean in your last shot there.
Yep.
What do you want to say about him?
Dude, he was the best guy. My mentor. He took me on a few trips before he passed away. And that, I wish he was here to see this, but I know he's looking down. And super happy for me.
Boog Krol, 2-time champion, PBA Playoffs champion.
Sick. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one and only. What the hell is that on there? The one and only. I don't know what the hell that was. David Boog Krol. What's going on, brother? Welcome, welcome, welcome.
What's going on?
Good to have you here, brother. Congratulations on the huge win. All I can say is I knew you could do it all along.
I appreciate it.
Dude. So badass, dude. So badass.
It was a really rewarding year so far, so I'm glad.
Which, by the way, guys, real quick, is the
yes,
is the mic good? Everything's good here. There's no nonsense coming
you are
in
good.
from my end. Can I start?
It's your show, brother. Go for it.
Okay. And I actually, the initial question I had was extremely generic, but then in the highlight reel, Rob, nice job with that highlight reel. I was actually I was very intrigued with that entire highlight reel from start to finish. Actually covered every single emotion. But Boog, you said all heart, and that in itself speaks volume. My original question was going to be in your wildest dreams, would you ever have imagined this year turn out the way it did? But a dream is a wish your heart makes. Thanks, Disney. And it sounds like, fuck sounds like it.
Yeah.
You did it. And you did it aside from your title in Delaware, aside from the PTQs, you beat what was it, 4 opponents or 3 opponents?
It was
and in one of the hardest formats you could possibly do, and you did it in style and you did it with class. And walk us through, man. Walk us through those playoffs.
Playoffs was a wild experience. Going to Seattle for possibly one game, going from the TOC home to Seattle to bowl one game, and you could just bowl your 12 frames, you're done. Like, it was stressful to say the least, but we were able to get through Wilkins, able to get through EJ up there. So either way, I was guaranteed $25K for going to Florida. So it made it worth it. But then going through Bill and Jesper, I mean, going through 4 opponents for one event, it's like you're running a ladder. And that's what it felt like. But it was probably the most rewarding tournament in year that I've ever bowled. Just going from everything else to going from the PTQs to winning Delaware to this, the playoffs is the most rewarding.
Boog, when I watched the show, I'm trying to remember the show. You had the long pattern on the left lane and you had the shorter pattern on the right lane. It was Albee and not the long one was what?
Weber? I don't know.
Fine. Now I feel better. The long pattern on the left, the short one on the right, right? You used the 78U on both lanes. We saw players like Kyle Troop. We saw players try and use resin on the left lane. We saw Bill try and use a GB4 hybrid, which is the ball or balls you used in Middletown. I had a lot of people ask me, they understand the urethane on the short. They didn't understand your choice for the urethane on the long. And me, to the best of my ability with my knowledge, I assume the volume was lower. You guys must have broken them down a specific way. But even watching Bill on the right lane, not being able to get out the flat 10 compared to you, which was just kicking it every single time, what did you have or see on that left lane that allowed you to use urethane on both patterns, which I would assume, I mean, I like using different balls here and there, but when they're easy, not when I'm bowling on a PBA pattern. And you figured out a way to make that ball work on 2 completely different length patterns. What was up? Was the volume a little bit lighter? Or like, tell us about that, because that's actually an intricate
with it being
question
longer, the fronts kind of burnt up pretty quick. And with it being a longer pattern, there's still like some, like, I would say push in the middle part of the lane. So like in Seattle, there was no right. If it went right, it was gone with the urethane. But if I got it left, I had this little funnel that they created, because some guys threw urethane and some guys threw reactive, and I was always the first match. So I felt pretty lucky that just the way that my seating was, that I got to bowl first and everyone behind us got the leftovers for the rest of the TV shows. So I felt that I had an advantage as well too. But on the left lane, I had funnel because everyone stayed further left of me during reactive, and I was the only one throwing right with the urethane. So if I typically didn't miss right, because I knew in my head, my miss always had to be left. If I went left with it, I was going to go high, 3-6-10, or 4-pin, my worst. Like, I was always going to keep the ball in play, and that's what I wanted to do. With a one-game match, anything can happen. So my best thought was I can probably get 9 on left lane throwing urethane. But if I tried reactive, I would strike, but also I would 2-8-10, wash out. It would get through it because my nerves still get the best of me, and my ball just shoots through it. And it gets caught in the middle and just never sees it down lane.
Thank you.
There's a lot of...
Thank you. That was actually more of a question for me than anybody else. So
it kept everything in play about it.
So.
There's a lot of things I want to ask you about specific to the telecast. One, you threw one on the left lane and you said, "Oh, Boog," and it held.
Yeah.
What did you think when you let go of it, and why did it hold?
I I didn't want a big four again.
Right.
I didn't want to check early because the fronts hooked more here in Florida. Well, not here, but in Florida than Seattle.
Right.
The lane surface is kind of more beat up in Florida, and the humidity was outrageous. I was sweating my butt off. But the front's just hooked that much, so I saw my ball check in the front. I was like, oh, come on, man. I'm on a big four again? Like, this is not good. But that's when I said, oh, Boog, just get 9, please.
Right. That's
we only did good once, so.
I mean, you buried it. So, I mean, it was weird what was going on when you let go of that ball. You talked to yourself a lot.
Yeah.
During those 2 games or 3 games. What was going through your mind? Obviously, you said the nerves get the best of you. Is that your own kind of self-coping mechanism to kind of keep you in check?
Yeah, I'm my own worst enemy. Like, I will always talk to myself and be my own personal coach right there on the lane to be like, okay, remember the process, breathe, slow feet, just all of these things I have to work on each shot. And usually I have like a couple buddies there, like Kevin, Packy, BJ,
right.
But it was just me and Dino, and Mike was there. And it was just something I always had to remind myself. I don't want to get so caught up in the moment and just forget about how I got there. So just keeping that repetition, the pre-shot routine the same.
You know, we asked reigning PBA 50 Player of the Year Troy Lynch this very question because, you know, it's just like any other sport. Like, again, I always talk about golf on this show, but like you think about the guys who go out and they win a PGA event, and it's not even the prize money for one event, which was a handsome check for you with the playoffs. It's not even so much the prize money, but it's what it allows you to do now. Like, for instance, when I was a kid, Jason Duffner was a pretty good golfer. He won the PGA Championship, I want to say, in 2005. Then Jason Duffner disappeared. But watching him play the PGA this past week was really, really cool. And one of the perks of being a PGA champion is you get to play the PGA Championship, whether it's at Valhalla or at any other place that they go, right? Your life is going to be different now. The win in Delaware was one thing. The playoffs champion is one thing. But now it's your life is different now, right? You are an exempt multi-time PBA champion now. Do you prep any differently? Do you do things different? Do you get more shirts designed? Do you, like, what goes on now for somebody that's now an elite player at the pinnacle of our sport?
The amount of things that I have to do now is ridiculous. Like, just to get to the business aspect of it, like creating an LLC for myself now.
Yep.
I didn't have one. I was just like a normal bowler. I made a couple $1,000s here and there on the weekend. My job made up for the taxes, so I never had to like really pay in every year. So like I never thought about an LLC. We're thinking about doing merch because there's a lot of family members that want like my logo on t-shirts. So it's like, okay, we can start doing that process now. I'm meeting with a personal trainer next week to make sure everything is good. I know I put on a few pounds this year and I want to get down a little bit and just get overall healthier for the next tour season and the whole summer and just take my life more seriously and get healthier for that. I can have this career for another 10, 15 years. I don't want to just take advantage of it right now and like, oh, I made a pretty good yearly salary, but how do I parlay this into a whole career? It's like a brand new chapter. Like my part-time is done.
That's what's so sexy to me, dude, is the fact that it's not like you didn't approach it as a business already. You obviously did all the way from when you were a kid until now. But now it seems to be a trend in bowling that was always missing that is now happening. The guys who are not only consistent, the guys that stay out of the bar, the guys that stay in shape, because the amount of work you have to do every single week to beat those guys every single week. And I don't give a shit what anybody wants to say, left, right, long, short, get the fuck out of here. You're bowling the greatest talent this sport has to offer. That's all there is to it. And you're already thinking about ways to make sure that you're looking more so, it seems like, from the outsider's perspective, longevity.
Yeah.
Because now you would not only expect to be there. Yeah. And I think that's badass, dude. So you're definitely already on the, well, you've always been on the right track, but that's even going to put you more on the right track.
Yeah, and just trying to find new avenues of like, how do we bring in income? If I do slow down my normal job, how do I get more avenues for income that way?
You know, you have a plethora of people that can help you. Obviously, I know there's all kinds of new things, like you said, that's opening up. But I'm sure you won't have any trouble getting to that level and help. You know, having people help you set up your LLC, and obviously you're going to hire someone to do your taxes now. But
absolutely,
of all the things that happened this year, or let's just say between Delaware and the playoffs, winning Delaware, did that give you a renewed sense of confidence that I'm in play any single tournament from here on out?
Yeah, it gave me the ability to believe in myself and like I can actually compete and win out here. I never knew that I could win. Like I thought I was good enough to win like a couple regionals here and there, a couple sweepers, and maybe I might do like a top 10 at nationals. I never thought I was good enough to win on the PBA tour. But I had all these people around me saying, "You're a force to be reckoned with." And I was like,
Can I ask you why?
What's up?
Why? Why did you feel like you couldn't? Honestly,
low self-esteem, and like I didn't think I was like one of the greats, like a Belmo, a Simo. I thought top 10, I'm pretty good there. I can make it cash, I can make it cut. But actually competing and winning, I've done it twice now in 1 year. It's shown me a lot. It's opened a lot of doors.
It's kind of amazing because you're what I like about you is you are a perfect mix of both sides of the coin. Like, you know, you're badass, but you also are humble enough to say, I don't think I'm badass.
Like Troy.
And then you say, it's all fucking hard and I know I'm the shit in the moment.
Yeah.
It's a very, very good mix, dude. It's like being with a woman that's like the good kind of crazy, you know, like she's fucking nuts, but in the same respect, she's like the right kind of nuts.
Yeah.
So that's actually, you're gaining a bigger fan by the minute with everything you say. It's pretty badass, dude. By the way, we have to apologize on behalf of Ocho because he has an engagement that he's dealing with. So I told him I would Anchorman the show for a moment until he comes back.
That's fair.
This one goes out to Ocho, who obviously loves Boog as well. Can you scream from the other room, Och? And just... Is that you talking? Oh, no, that's Jen. That's Mrs. Ocho. That's me. I got him. But he is here. He's here, and he will be back, Boog. Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead.
So, obviously, I patterned the highlight video after the WWE and Stone Cold Steve Austin because number one, you were ice cold, Stone Cold killer, and it's remarkable. The murderer's row that you had to go through this year is fantastic. But number two, obviously, you won a replica WWE belt and given to you by the fucking giant Baron Corbin,
dude, massive.
And I know you're not a tall guy yourself, but it was like looking up at Andre the Giant.
Yeah, it's he's a beefcake.
He really is, but really, really cool dude. Very, very down to earth. But it was a cool moment for me as a wrestling fan to see that happen. And now you have the belt, dude. You're the champ. And I feel bad for Kyle because Kyle obviously wanted a three-peat, but watching him begrudgingly clap for you because obviously Jesper is his best friend was a little hard to watch. But did he say anything to you after the show? Did you speak to Kyle?
Yeah, he was. He came over to the show and congratulated me. He talked to like my wife, her parents, and my mom, and like welcomed him and like just approached him and gave him hugs. Like, dang, there's some good people out here. So, like, he's definitely one of the good guys.
He really is. Guys like him and EJ. I mean, they're really and even Belmont, like they're ambassadors for the sport. And dude, you're one of those now. Like your face is going to be known all over the bowling world. If they didn't know you before after Delaware, dude, they know who you are now.
Yeah. So even after so I was in Florida yesterday, Monday after the show, we went to First Watch for breakfast, and we walked in, and I locked eyes with this person at a table, and I was like, he knows me. He was probably at the show. He saw the show and didn't say anything until he sat down, and he's like, dude, congratulations. Can I grab a picture real quick? I'm like, yeah, I guess. Like, do people do that? Like, I can only imagine like how superstars feel, like Patrick Mahomes and like people like that. Like, it's just weird for me being like, I don't want to say like a celebrity, but like kind of famous.
You can say it, dude.
Yeah, you can say it.
You are now.
No, you can.
And you're handling it amazingly.
Thank you.
You are, in our world, dude, you are a fucking superstar, man. You are a rock star.
Dude, he's the PBA fucking playoffs champion.
Right. I mean, that's forever.
You're allowed to brag, bro.
And honestly,
brag.
We have a lot of high expectations for you moving forward, as well as you probably are yourself.
Yeah.
But God forbid anything ever happens, that's still forever. Like what you did this year, you can't take that away. No. And you never know what's going to happen with injuries. I'm not trying to jinx you or anything.
I'll tell you what, look, sorry to cut you off, Rob.
No, it's fine.
This is a serious question because you got, well, Rob, you know, on Tuesday nights I bowl with JD's son, Joseph. Right. I always ask this question. I actually ask everybody this question. You're about to bowl league. 10 minutes of warm-up.
I know where you're going.
If I were to put a blindfold on you, like you look at the pins, you look at the approach, right? You know where they are. If I put a blindfold on you, where do your feet want to go? In other words, you know what I mean? Like, where is your comfort zone, if you even have one? Like, for me, my comfort zone is like 33, 34 with my feet, cross somewhere around 18, get it to about 7. Like, that's where I want to be all the time. And I'm a lefty, which means I don't get to do that very often on sport shots, but I can do it on house shots. Do you have a comfort zone? Because we've seen you throw it over the left cap. We've seen you play up the gut. We've seen you throw urethane resin. What's Mr. Krol's comfort zone?
It's going to sound ridiculous, but the big dot right in the middle, I like standing in between that and just hooking it, man. Whenever I can just hook it and just spray and pray and just
hell yeah, dude! I love spraying and praying. It's the best. It's the best.
Like give me a good old clip house shot. I love it.
Fucking awesome.
That is awesome. And there's a lot of haters out there, not to the level of Belmo, but there are some haters that I've seen some comments on the thread of your wins from the PBA Facebook group and all that, where people are talking about spray and pray and two-handed's ruining.
Wait a minute, Rob.
Blah, blah,
Two
blah,
things
blah.
about those haters. One, the loudest boos come from the cheapest seats. And number two, if they're talking about them, doesn't matter how they're talking about them. They're talking about them.
That is true.
Play it as a positive, right?
No, that's true. Respect. Even bad press is good press.
There's a quote that's going to be on my next either like TikTok or like Instagram. I have it on my phone. Let me get to it. It says,
find that shit.
Talk good about me, talk bad about me. Just please keep talking about me.
That's badass.
That is solid.
Yeah,
it's so true.
It really is.
I mean, like, seriously, dude, think about it. I know more about musicians when they talk bad about them.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, who's this musician? Oh, I like their music. Like, I listen to them, you know, when we're talking about it. Unless it's like in cases like, I don't even have to mention what's going on with Puff, but you know what I mean? It's like Boog just said, you know, any publicity is good publicity because they're talking about you. And now, not only are they talking about you, Boog, but you got through two playoffs champions, and, well, I know you didn't have to bowl Kyle, but you know what I mean. But you got through at least one playoff champion, and you know Jesper at least had a fucking full tank of fire going against you because He lost to his best friend, or he beat his best friend.
Yeah.
Who is the defending 2-time champion of this event, and you took home the belt.
Yep.
I mean, want to talk about one of my favorite influencers of the younger generation is a kid named Sam Sullick. He's a weightlifter, and he's somehow figured out a way to not only be like one of the most beautifully like jacked guys ever, but he's so down to earth, and he's like got to hang out with Arnold Schwarzenegger and all these guys. And what he always says is, being big is already a flex. Like, you don't have to flex if you're big. Being big says that you do a lot of fucking work to be big. You are holding the playoffs championship belt. That is a flex, dude. So, like, no matter where you go, you're already humble enough, and that belt is a fucking flex. I'm so fucking proud of you, dude. I'm fanboying. 1 second.
Thank you.
This is a pretty cool comment. Clifton Don says Boog needs to walk into Applebee's or Buffalo Wild Wings with the belt. That would be badass. His banner will be hung up, which must be surreal for him among the elites. Like, you should walk in everywhere you go with that belt. I don't even fucking care if people stare at you. Like,
I walked through security with that, and I got so many of the up-down looks. Like, I can only imagine what they thought. Like, oh, from probably midget wrestling,
right?
And just no one asked a single question until I got to my home airport and was like, "What's that?"
Right. That's hilarious. Midget wrestling.
And it's not like that's a WWE belt.
Yeah.
They probably think he's some wrestling mark, right? Like, they don't probably associate bowling with it, even though it's got a PBA plate on it. But
And Boog, I don't know if you know this, but this guy and Ocho are like the biggest, not only wrestling fans ever, but have had podcasts with the creator of WWF, Vince Russo. Am I
he's the head
correct,
writer.
Rob?
Yeah, Vince was the head writer, and I've interviewed several wrestlers. But
So it's kinda cool. Maybe one of these days we get Boog and Vince Russo together, and then we could talk more about the belt. You know, it's kind of badass.
That would be nice. Were you a wrestling fan at all, Boog?
I watched like in the early 2000s with like The Rock, the Hardy Boys,
right?
But the recent stuff now.
Yeah,
me neither.
With the belt,
I was more of the Hogan, Savage, Jake the Snake, Big Boss Man era myself.
Yeah.
I kind of exited the WWF scene when John Cena entered. I like John Cena, but I was like, actually more Stone Cold. That was around the time that I exited the WWF world, WWE world, whatever it is. Anyway, fuck that noise. We don't have to talk about that.
That belt is sexy, though. You got a plan for where you're going to put it?
I was looking at actually Amazon for a case for it.
Nice.
Right now it's in like a black case and it just says like replica WWE belt.
Right.
I think I'm going to buy like a case and mount it on the wall.
That'd be badass. Yeah. Put a little spotlight on it, too.
Yeah.
So aside real go ahead, Rob. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask you, just getting back to Jesper. He was on fire both weeks. He lost the first game. All of a sudden, he lost his look, and you didn't. Do you understand? Like, do you know what happened to him?
I don't. I think he saw his ball hook early on the right lane and just kind of got freaked out by it. Because when you're going dual pattern, it's so hard to stay like locked in.
Right.
Whenever you lose a lane, it feels like you lose both of them at the same time. At least for me, because the right lane brought me troubles like game one because there's no practice on it. We only got 2 balls, so I had no carry down. No one helped me, so it was just like all myself. So I was like, I have to throw it hard and just hopefully I can get a double somewhere to put some pressure on him, and I couldn't. Luckily, it was race to 2.
No, luckily it was. But come the roll off, were you like convinced? Like, I got this. Like, this is it. Like, were you confident going into the roll off?
I just was happy I got to the roll off, and after I finished my frame, I looked at Mike and he said, "You're starting right lane." I mean left lane.
Yeah.
I said, "Okay." He's like, "Come talk to me." I said, "Okay." So I walk over there. He says, "Dude, it's just bowling. Move left, throw it hard." I said,
"Okay."
I can't do that. That's one thing I can't do. So he's like, "You're going to start left lane. Just get off that lane. Get 9." So, okay.
You know what, Bug? I'm going to feed off this for a second because this is something else I observed when I was watching you bowl during the playoffs. For all of our non-viewer or like all of our viewers, most bowlers understand that when you curl your pinky, it usually means a little bit more side turn, a little bit more tilt, a little bit more angularity. And if you untuck the pinky, it's a little bit more forward.
Yep.
When you were in Middletown, you were tucked the whole time.
Yep.
At the playoffs, you were tucked on one lane and untucked on the other.
Yep.
Talk about it. That's such a tiny-ass move that a lot of bowlers that are actually watching right now don't understand.
No, and I think it's very shocking. Like, I learned it probably about 8 or 9 years ago that if I tuck my pinky, I get a different motion down lane for me. So on the right lane, I tuck my pinky every time. I like seeing the ball hook down lane. So on the right lane, I could tuck it and just see the ball, do the right motion. On the left lane, I kind of just want to trap it and get it to read it a little bit earlier. I don't want to have my ball like squirt down lane and possibly buck it to a 10. So if I get into an earlier roll, it just locks up, and that's why I didn't tuck it on the left lane as much. Because there would be, like, I think the first game I tried to, but it just wasn't the best. And I think the shot in the roll-off on the left lane, I didn't tuck it as well.
What I think is kind of cool about that is, like, again, going back to golf, it's bowling, and the reason bowlers like golf and golfers, the reason bowlers like golf is they're both a game of inches. Yeah. And when you watch golf, like, we see a guy make a putt and miss it a couple inches left or right, or one rims out, one rims down, but they'll show you in the instant replay maybe when he took the club away, maybe his top hand opened like a millimeter more. So we see this on Specto, spot to spot down lane. We see the speed, but we never really get a true, like, reason or, like, understanding as to why.
Yeah.
And for all of you watching, again, bowling, as we all know, is a game of inches. I mean, a 4-pin and a dead flush shot is, but to see something as simple as this to create that much difference in our sport, those are the kind of things that, like, people that don't bowl will say, I never realized bowling was so mechanical, was so physical, was so yada, yada, yada. So Cal Poly, Walter A. Williams Jr., like, intuitive. Like, they have no idea what goes into it week to week. And I was actually just curious, and I actually thank you for your explanation. So, that was badass. It is a game of inches, and it just goes to show how good these guys are, right, Rob?
It really is, and it's the little things, right? It's the minutia that nobody would catch that, and unless you're a bowler, you wouldn't. For me, when I bowled, it felt weird for me to stretch my pinky finger out. I don't know why. My entire life, ever since I started bowling for 30-something years, I always tuck my pinky finger.
Well,
mechanically, I didn't know it made a difference. Like, so from hearing Boog say that, that's mind blowing to me.
And you know what's crazy for me, Rob, is my idols growing up, aside from Dad, were Parker Bone and Jason Couch. Mm-hmm. And Jason never curled his pinky. And his rev rate was one of the sexiest we've ever seen. And Parker almost always curled his pinky.
Yeah.
Parker throws it a lot harder than Jason. He's a lot more direct. Jason's typically deeper, but they always seem to bowl well week to week every time. It's like Jason's the leader, Parker's fourth. Parker's third, Jason's second. It was always, and it's like you can get there as long as you hone your own skills, right?
Yeah.
But to me, it was always ass backwards with those two. Like, why is the guy that throws it straight and up the lane curling, but the guy that's curving the whole lane, he's untucked, but they're both dead up. Actually, Parker's more around it, throwing it straighter, maybe a mile an hour harder than Jason on average. It's such a intriguing thing to me, because it's so tight-knit. Troy, I have no idea what's going on in my dad's tournament right now. I know Troy's on the show. For anybody that don't spoil it, anybody in the chat, because I definitely want to go watch it.
Somebody did say it, so I won't tell you anything.
But Troy, I mean, like, Troy to me is I guess he's kind of a hybrid of Jason and Parker because he doesn't curve it as much as Jason. He doesn't throw it as hard as Parker, but he also gets it to work. And it's amazing. They always say bowling is a sport that allows anybody to do it, and anybody can fucking do it.
Yeah.
But the guys that give a shit, this guy, they just do it better. Sorry, I'm rambling now. It's still fanboying, but I do this at least once a week.
He does, and it's sexy. Let me ask you this, Boog. You said you like to hook the ball, and we've said this with Troy before. Troy doesn't.
Look, I'll be right back. Rob, I'll be right back.
Okay. Troy doesn't want to throw. He didn't want to throw the purple hammer all last year. Jesper doesn't want to throw urethane all the time. Did you ever think at any point, I'm just going to try urethane, stand left, throw it out right, see what happens? Or were you pretty confident that urethane was the right way to go?
No, urethane was the right way to go. There was no ifs, ands, or buts if I was throwing reactive.
Right.
After the show with Bill, he was like, "What's your plan? Are you going to try reactive?" I said, "They're going to re-oil." He said, fuck, you're fine.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Don't change anything. Because I threw urethane in Seattle. I threw urethane down here. Like, I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to 110% commit to urethane. And if I lose, then I lose.
Yeah. If Bill didn't make that ball change early on the left lane, if he had bowled with that ball from the start, you think would have been a different outcome?
I think it'd be a whole lot closer.
Yeah.
I think because he went from a theorem to the GB4.
Yep.
I think if he threw the GB4 the whole time, different story. It keeps the match a little bit closer.
You were locked in either way. I mean, it's.
I hate saying this out loud, but I had what I had. Like, I thought I was going to shoot 300. I thought that 10K bonus in my pocket.
Yep.
But you're slow. You're real slow.
You're too humble, bro. You're too humble. Just, I love it. I love it that you're down to earth and you're humble and you're a good kid. But like, you have to, like Johnny said, you have the right to brag. Be like, fuck it. I knew I was on. I knew I was locked in. I
don't want my head to get so big and just some schmuck from Missouri.
You definitely are a schmuck from Missouri, but that's besides the point. So I don't want to be remiss in mentioning this because I noticed kind of a trend. So when we had you on the show the first time, you shot 300 in league after you're on. You had a call in last week, and now you're the playoffs champion. I'm not denying your ability. Obviously, you are the man, but I think you got the straight up 5 rub. And I think that helped you along the way.
Before I go to nationals, got to come back on.
Yeah, you do. You need to be on every week.
Yeah.
So you can break the record, break Roth's record. No, dude, it's like I said, when I texted you before the event, I said, dude, just be you. Like throw, just don't worry about it. Don't play the man, play the lanes, throw your shots and you got it. Like I had full confidence. Now I was fucking like standing up, pacing back and forth the entire time. And screaming when you won, but I knew, dude. Like there's just something, I don't know what it is. I can't explain the feeling that I had, but like I was very confident that you were going to win going in.
Yeah, I just thought I had nothing to lose, but only everything to gain going down there.
Right.
So, like, whatever happens. If I lose, then I have a good time in Florida. Like. Nothing goes wrong. Like I'm treating this as a vacation. We stayed till Tuesday. But if I win, then a pretty good year.
Hell yeah, dude. Seriously. Well, I mean, that's a great attitude to have. Like this is all gravy. Like you've already won. Like you've already had your best year yet. Whatever happens now, it's a bonus.
Yeah.
I mean, that's to be that loose, dude. That's not many people can do that.
Yeah, because we talked about it at the airport, like, because my wife's family, they flew down, and they're like, we just want to see you on TV. We want to see you work, basically. Like, we want to be a part of it. I said, okay, whatever, just come on down. But we talked about, like, what if I lose? And, like, that happens. Like, that's a big possibility. Like, just didn't know what to expect, so we just went in with the idea of nothing to lose, let's have a good time, treat it as a vacation, and see what happens.
Are you ready to get back out? Like, are you itching for the next season to come up? Or are you looking forward to having the time off?
I'm definitely going to enjoy the time off. I'm still going to work my job. I'm still going to like bowl on the weekends, but I wish we had like a summer tour that would start in the middle of like July, for that we had like June off. Something starts in July. We bowl for July and August, because then the league finals are in September, so it gives them time to rest up for that whole stuff. But yeah, I wish there was a little bit more. Like, I'll bowl the trios in Jonesboro. That's like 4 hours from me.
Yeah.
And then the Lucy, I don't have a partner for and a spots. So I'll be like on the waiting list or like sub list if anyone gets injured or something. Like, I can drive to Houston, doesn't matter. But besides that, I think that's going to be it on the national tour, but I'll still bowl stuff like for the Midwest regionals and Southwest regionals.
And you're gonna walk in like a fucking badass when you walk in the regionals now, because like you're the playoff champ. So
it's gonna be different for sure. Like, I'm about to bowl pro-ams now. Like, usually I was always the guy to be like, hey, I want B squad. I want to leave Saturday morning. And now Tony, the director, is like, I'm gonna need you for pro-ams. It's like, okay, I guess.
So I'm sure a lot of people have obviously reached out to you and congratulated you. Anybody that you were like super humbled by that reached out to you to say, great job?
Let me think about this. Yo, Parker Bone got my phone number somehow and texted me. I was wild.
Yeah.
Like, he said, hey, nice bowling. By the way, this is Parker. I said, Hall of Fame bowler Parker? Parker Bone the third? Like, how do you get my number? But yeah, that was one. Chad Murphy, who's went to college here in Springfield, he texted me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool.
Dude, that's awesome. Parker is Ocho. You gonna say something? You just sitting there like an asshole. Ocho's great friends with Parker. They're from the same area. They both bowl Howell Lanes. Obviously, Och, there's nothing bad to ever say about Parker.
No one ever can. Like, the guy's the most polite guy. I swear to God, the first time he swore to me, he whispered it in my ear because he was like, I don't want anybody to hear this. Not being like, he's an ambassador for the tour, and he's like, it's amazing how maybe he goes home and F-bombs it away. I don't know. I doubt it, because I feel like you have to have that kind of discipline anyway.
It's nice of a guy to do that.
No, that's what I feel like. He's actually that good of a guy. And he'll talk to anybody. Like, he'll legit talk to anybody.
Yep.
That is really cool, though, that he reached out and found your number. That's awesome. Seriously. That's really, really cool. Och, you got any questions for the champ?
What's the Rangers score besides 1-0? That Florida. I'm just curious. No, I'm just kidding. I gotta go do stuff, and I'll be right back. Because you freaking rule, Boog.
Thank you.
Crushed it. You were the man. You're still the man.
Evelyn is a big fan too.
Yes, she wanted to say hi, Boog. He's right there, honey. He's right there. See? There. Okay.
Oh, yes. She is absolutely adorable. So Johnny.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if we asked him this last time he was the first time on the show. It's something that Johnny and I always ask everybody, and I'm sorry if I forgot. What's your favorite ball of all time, Boog?
Favorite ball of all time?
Good question.
It is either the Monster Bruiser, the black and blue one, or the original Twisted Fury. I was
Time out.
Growing up,
just fell in love.
Yeah, so I had about 3 or 4 Twisted Furies. I had the Destructions, everything like that, but the original, the red, gray, silver one was my favorite. And then I got the Monster Bruiser in like Reno whenever they did nationals out there, and I had my name engraved on it, and that's one that really stands out.
Rob, the Monster Bruiser, just to give you an idea, because you are a bowler, an old school bowler. The Monster Bruiser was an original forest green quantum core, which was a mushroom. and the cover stock was Power Coil 17, which is what they used on the Danger Zone.
Here,
So
hold
the
on.
Monster Bruiser is literally a
That's
Danger
sick.
Zone and a
Yeah.
Quantum having a baby.
That is disgusting.
It's the grossest, sexiest thing I've ever heard of. Did Boog leave because he's so turned on, or did he have to use the restroom?
Maybe,
Doesn't matter.
Or maybe
He's
actually
allowed
still
to do
has-
whatever he wants.
Maybe he still has the
But
ball. Maybe he's going to get
The
it.
Monster Bruiser dude was one of my favorite balls that I totally forgot on episode, what was it, 60? Or
Oh,
we
yeah.
talked about my top 20.
Yes.
I never even got it in there.
From the garage.
And you have the OG
damn.
Twisted Fury. That's where you went. Had a baby.
Freaking good old when I use my thumb.
Look at that grip. Look at that grip.
Oh yeah.
That is
The
fantastic.
last memory I have of that Twisted Fury was Parker Bone in Spartanburg, South Carolina, on a show with all lefties. The late Billy Oatman was on that show. This was during the time when Rhino Page was still kicking the shit out of everybody in PTQs. I think he threw a Spitfire on that show from Storm. But Parker took care of business on that show, rocking a lime green shirt, thin stripes, horizontal, a little bit of white in the background. B one side, Brunswick on the other, twistedfury.com. Do that ball, both of those balls. What fantastic picks for Boog just now.
That's really
when it
cool.
comes to balls.
And honestly,
It's
I don't think
it's no Swamp Monster
Right.
or Teal Rhino, Robert. But
I don't think we asked him that the first time because you wouldn't have busted a nut. Like you would have been, oh yeah, we already knew that. Like
we definitely didn't ask him.
Yeah.
But while he's putting that ball away, I will say actually, I will ask this, Boog. We have reached the hour mark. Are you still okay to stay here, or do you have other engagements? Are you okay? Okay, cool.
Good.
Rob, how about you?
I'm good. No, I have.
You're Rob.
I'm off tomorrow, so yeah.
Okay,
that's me. Yeah, I'm Rob.
Yeah, you're
no,
off
I'm
tomorrow.
good.
I'm on my last day of PTO tonight.
Yes,
I've had a week of no work at 10 p.m. till 6 a.m. Been so happy about it. So I'm starting to get moderately miserable right now, but
yeah,
I'm handling it.
I'm on PTO till Friday, and then I go back to work Friday, and then obviously we have the long weekend with Memorial Day. But we're going to St. Louis for the weekend, so looking forward to that. Lots of good Italian food there.
Oh, excellent! You're literally going to Boog's home area and my entire Nationals team area. It's so funny. I was literally talking about that outside during my smoke break just now. When I drove cross country from Vegas back to Jersey, I was in Oklahoma City on day one for my drive. And I called my Nationals teammate, Shea Bittenbender. And I'm like, Shea, what do you got going on today? Because my next stop on the way home is St. Louis. He goes, dude, believe it or not, Jen and Steve, they're having their engagement party. It starts at 3 p.m. So I put in their address on my GPS at 7 a.m., leaving my hotel in Oklahoma City, and my ETA was 2:57 p.m. I'm like, I'm coming to your party.
Hell yeah.
It's fucking awesome, dude.
That's so cool. How far are you from St. Louis, Boog?
I'm about 3 hours.
Okay, well, I was going to say if you're a little bit closer, I'd stop by, but yeah, no.
You're more towards I think they're at like St. Charles and centers like that. Yeah.
Shrewsbury and up there.
Big bowling community out there in Mizzou, obviously. I mean, like Nelson Burton Jr., Pete Weber. I mean, come on.
Yep.
Dick Weber. I'm also going to say Shea Bittenbender because he's as decorated as Adam Barta when it comes to the amateur ranks. But, I mean, like, what a great bowling area you're in. And it's probably got to be, like, one of the reasons why you're so good, Boog, because you're always bowling great talent. I watch the Southside doubles every year. My best friend Stephanie Sheridan goes out there every single year. I mean, you're bowling great talent all the time out there, huh?
Yeah, so I'm more of the Southwest. So I'll bowl like the Maldives, AJ Chapman's, a lot of the Southwest guys, Barnes, Stu Williams. That's our regionals. The Spar brothers.
Damn.
It's a national tour stop.
Yeah, you never get a moment to rest. Just work.
Yeah.
But you got to do work. That's it, Rob. That's all I got.
That's fair. I'm actually looking forward to good barbecue because I can't get anything here in Tennessee. Sorry, guys. I'm not a fan. I love St. Louis barbecue. This so good.
Good sense of family out in that part of the country.
Yes.
It's a good mix of, like, you want to go where everybody knows your name, but everybody's usually very, very respectful and cool and just, like, open in that part of the country. I went to school in Kentucky and Ohio, same thing. Just very welcoming people in that section of the country.
Yep. And I love being outside of Nashville because like we're central to everything. Like I'm 4 hours from Atlanta, I'm 5 hours from St. Louis. Kentucky is a couple hours away. Yeah. You know, the Panhandle's like 9 hours. Like we're accessible from everywhere. But we have a lot of Chicago transplants. We have a lot of St. Louis transplants down here that move down here for work and stuff. So it's quite a Midwest-ish mix down here with in the Mid-South as well. So, and I haven't been to St. Louis yet, so I'm looking forward to it. But
this weekend?
Yes.
I was supposed to go to a wedding this weekend, and it was like in I'm not even sure where it's at. It's near where the casinos are. But yeah, I was supposed to go to a wedding this weekend, but I'm bowling greater this weekend. It's gonna be weird. Like it's my first non-PBA event, so I'm only wondering what's going to happen.
Bug, just to shit on the bowling community for a minute. How many people do you think are going to say, he's not allowed to bowl, he's a fucking PBA champ, I'm not bowling, fuck you, and your entire tournament?
Bro. So after I won Delaware, I was looking at events for the rest of the year, and I found this event, like, I think it's like a 15 or 20K in Phoenix. And I read the rules, and I was going through it. I was like, this is something manageable because it's like a 1 or 2 day event, easy flight. And it said no PBA champions. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what? That's a thing? But now, yeah, going to sweepers in Kansas City, like, I wonder, like, what are they going to say? Huh. Like, usually it's – because Kansas City is about 2.5 hours from Wichita, so you get, like, Packy, Francois that might come bowl those. So they're used to it. But
sure,
my greater squad, like brackets, I can only imagine what people are going to say.
So that's a great question, actually. Do you? Ooh, this is actually a tough question, Boog.
Unfettered, Johnny. Unfettered.
Because this is whatever you answer, I respect. Because I personally, to a certain extent, don't give a shit what anybody says about me. Yeah. My dad's a living legend, and he's a perfect human, and I'm a drunk mess. That's also very, very sweet. So I'm used to people talking shit. But you go to league or you go to a local event that allows champions, and they have 100 brackets. What are you doing? Are you getting in, or are you laying back? Oh. And the reason I'm asking you is I bowl league with my dad and Parker Bone on Mondays at Howell.
Yeah.
They never even consider getting in the pots, but they're also treated like royalty at Howell Lanes.
Yeah.
And you know those two are like they give a lot more shits about everybody else, you know?
Yeah.
And as obviously you do too, but if Parker were to walk into, say, I don't know, a random bowling center, I'm assuming Parker would get into some action. So would my dad. So would I if I was somewhere. But, like, do you just fire? Do you lay back? Are you somewhere in the middle? Like, what happens when it comes to side action when you're the GOAT? Like, you're the best in the building.
So it depends on the event. They run an event in Ohio, the 10K ran by Jody Boyd. In that event, I'll get in a high game, eliminator, stuff like that. I won't really play brackets because I know my place in Ohio. I'm not left-handed. But
Youngstown State, brother. I understand.
That's
yeah, like, it's hard to strike against them. I know that I can strike with them, but I hit a bad pair. They don't hit a bad pair. I lose money. But for, like, Greater Ozarks this weekend, I'll fire.
See, I like this answer, Rob, because what he's not talking about anybody's views on anything. He's talking about his chances and his probability to win, like most winners do. And that's one thing for everybody. Like, one of my biggest problems in life was always people telling me what to do and what not to do, but mainly because of the name on my back. It had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with the guy in front of me, the legend. We love him. But Boog, talking about getting yourself healthy and actually talking about the probabilities of winning or making a profit, they all tie in together, dude. You have not only the makings of a champion on the lanes, your brain has the makings of a champion off the lanes.
Thank you.
And you're very, very, very confident and sure of yourself when you have to be, which is one of the coolest things. It's something that I wish I possessed. I honestly do, because I'm a very talented bowler. I throw it beautifully. I can literally play anywhere on the lane at any time. But I lack that. This is my job. This is what I have to do. This is where I have to go, and this is how I have to do it. I lack that. And I've been trying for like almost goddamn 40 years with my gray hair and all this shit to try and figure it out, but I haven't quite gotten it yet.
Johnny, I'm going to blow smoke up your ass. Not that I don't ever.
Wait a minute. Here you go. I can't lift that high anymore, dude. Almost 40. Keep going. Go on.
The reason our opening says that this is one of the most gifted bowlers of this or any generation, talking about you, is because you are. And I mean that. Not just because you're my friend, but you're right. If you had the killer instinct and the focus that your dad had, there would be no stopping you. Like that, it's not just blowing smoke up your ass for real. Like it's actually true, in my opinion.
You know what, Rob? Boog, I'll make this quick because this is about you. This is not about me. My dad had no choice. There's a big difference between. I've never ever had no choice.
Right.
I've always had not only a choice, but a lot of choices. Thanks to my mom and my dad. Honest to God. Yeah. Without them, I'm just a fucking schlub, dude. They figured out a way to make me right in so many ways. My dad, when he was a kid, my dad was a Monarch, which was a gang in Brooklyn. Right? Okay, I'm going to talk about that when he was 13 for 10 seconds. He was a fucking gang member in New York. And in New York, especially Brooklyn, one of a few things happens. You join the big guys, like the Godfather friends. You are really, really good in a sport, or you hustle drugs, money, pool tables, darts, whatever it is. That's what happens in New York. My dad used to leave school. New Utrecht school. New Utrecht. Actually, he would say New Utrecht. He would leave New Utrecht. He'd go to Maple Lanes, the original Maple Lanes, a Laspina-owned center, which is where they are in Clearwater right now. And he would go and he would clean tables for 3 hours so he could bowl for 1 hour for free. And then one day, one of the guys that had the money found them and said, I got a couple guys that want to bowl you for money, kid, and I think you're going to beat them. And I'll give you 10% of whatever you win, and I'll take care of all your action. And after doing that for a couple of years from ages 14 to 16, 17, and my grandparents both working second jobs to raise the other money to get my dad on tour, my dad got in the car and started on tour. And his only options were go on tour and be good or go back to Brooklyn. And he loves Brooklyn, but he didn't want to be in Brooklyn for the rest of his life. His back was against the wall. And then he goes out in 1966, goes to Fort Smith, Arkansas, wins his first title, and then calls my grandmother on a payphone or a hotel phone, whatever it was, and she says, congratulations, John, you have to come home. Here's your draft card. In the prime, in your teens, you have to go to Vietnam and fight for our country. And he did from 1967 to 69. And thank God for Eddie Elias getting dad out of Vietnam through a thing called seasonal employment 38 days earlier than he should have left during Tet Offensive and the Siege of Quezon. Then dad comes home in 1971, makes 8 out of 13 shows, makes $85,000 in 1971, goes home, takes care of mom and dad's fucking house in Brooklyn and my mom's parents' house at the same time. And he just figured out how to do it. And it all started from somewhere. Boog, the exact same way. Your story that we know of publicly is the PTQs, the first win, and now the playoffs champion. I can't wait to see what you do now with the rest of your career because you've already done everything with your back against the wall. You've been in every single thing involved in bowling, whether it's flipping burgers, fixing machines, just like Simo, somebody you said you never thought you could ever beat or be as good as earlier in the show. Well, I think you can because you have the right brain. And the more you talk, the more similarities I seem to find.
Thank you.
That's it.
I appreciate it.
That's a great story, Johnny. I never knew all that. You know, just real quick, like that story of your dad kind of reminds me of a comparison to Ted Williams, right? Gets drafted, goes in, I don't know if it's World War I or II. I think it was II. Comes back and fucking kills it, right? Got the highest batting average of all time. Like, that's just cool that your dad was able to come back and just fucking kill it. Like, that's disgusting.
And just goes to show you, like, anybody can do it because my dad's always frantic. My dad is always making sure that everybody around him is okay. He's making sure everything's always in order. But when he's on the lanes, like the 300, you see him whispering under his breath for the 3 shots on the 10th frame. So when he comes home, I'm like, what were you saying to yourself? He goes, 3 shots to college. Get on the approach and throw this fucking ball. I don't want to think about anything else. 3 shots, you and your sister go to college. That's it.
That's so cool.
If it was the 8th frame of league, he'd be bitching about his finger, his knee, his reaction. The tape is not in the fucking thumb hole right. This kid's screaming. But then here I am. I got this when I need it. I mean, it's a sexy quality. It's a very, very, very sexy quality.
It is
to have. He has it. This guy has it too.
Our friend Nate Garcia, BTQ guys look up to you, fam. Definition of hard work. Thank you, Nate.
Oh yeah, and there's another guy that works his ass off. Is Nate?
Yeah.
I mean, Nate is always working his ass off, right, Boog? I mean, he's always there, always trying,
and always trying. Yeah,
always.
Like, I see him post on YouTube like $2,000 sweeper. Like, this guy puts in the time, puts in the games, puts in everything, man.
100%.
He really does. And goddamn, he throws so smooth. Like, I love watching him throw the ball. Like, it is
before I say it again, it's obnoxious watching Nate bowl because I feel so inferior. So gross. I feel like my feet smell like Parmesan cheese when I see him. I just feel gross when I see him because it's too good. It's too good.
It is.
And he's another guy, like I say this all the time, like, you stepped up this year, Boog, and you did it. We've seen other first-time winners like Dio Bernard and Eric Jones and All-Team Hammer, by the way, not a coincidence.
Yep.
But Nate is another one of those guys that has all the talent, and I think once it clicks, the same thing can happen to him. Like, he's that good.
Yep.
So, Nate, you're the sexiest man alive. Hashtag long Nate, by the way. Everybody drop hashtag long Nate in the chat. I'm going to see him.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
I'm going to see him and his lovely wife, Elise Bolton, next week. She'll be bowling in the PWBA at Smyrna Bowling Lane. So looking forward to seeing those guys. But anyway, back to Boog.
Wait a minute. Boog. So timeout. What are your plans for the summer?
Oh, yeah.
What are you going to do in the summer?
So I'll work, bowl, and then I think we're going to do some like house upgrades, just nice. Little here and there.
Hell yeah.
But just like relax. I think we go to Vegas June 17th and we bowl the 18th and 19th. But besides that, just work, bowl, and live this life that I've now opened this chapter to. Like, I don't have to work 40 hours a week anymore. I can work 20, 25, 30, whatever I desire. I'll get into the gym and fix this whole diet and get healthier, start that process, get into a routine. But the summer is going to be all about setting up the rest of my life. And I don't want to say rest of my life, but
I hate to give unwarranted suggestions or advice, but I will say this to you. and I'll send you pictures of my journey. I am an ISSA certified nutritionist and bodybuilding expert.
Okay.
If you need any help with your caloric intake or what you want to do to do anything, you can at least come here for fucking free advice, for always giving us your time.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
I've always got
definitely gonna use that.
Just
I'll
anytime you want, dude. You know.
I'll give Boog your number, but if you don't have a Boog, so I'll make that
please.
connection.
Grab that from Rob or hit me up on Messenger and anything you need, dude, just to get you going.
Thank you.
And at least let you know what the journey is going to entail.
Yeah.
En route to your goal. So.
Yeah, I used to be 255 pounds. I was a chunky boy, but we got down to 160. But we've crept back up a little bit just because of just life.
Did you feel at 160 you were a little sluggish or super athletic? What did you feel?
Sluggish. It felt. I hate saying this, but I felt so unhealthy. I felt too skinny.
I'm going to send you pictures of when I was 260, 160, and my current weight, which is usually around 215 to 225.
Yeah.
And the sluggish thing, we're going to start there in your fitness journey as far as getting yourself ready to kick all those guys' asses this next season. So always here. Come take the free advice from me. I promise it'll help.
Gotcha.
Well, can I ask you this, Johnny, since you are the man, you are the nutritionist.
What?
You do bowl different now that you got jacked. What if that happens to Boog?
It won't. I would never, ever, ever supply a plan that I have. The reason I am not as good is my lats are too wide. I can't get myself close to my body in my backswing. I actually have to clear my wings. So when they're easy, I can get away with it. But if they're hard, I'm kind of stuck trying to shove it up straight up 5. Swung in that boomerang. Let me catch it real quick. Okay. But if I have to play the track area, I have to stand on 27 to play 10.
Yeah.
And that's if you're a weightlifter and a bowler, if you're a weightlifter, AJ Johnson is the threshold. You can be as big, as wide as AJ or as lean and toned as Marshall, but you can't be wide if you want to be a bowler. Yeah. I would never recommend anything like that for Boog. All I would do with Boog is recommend a nutrition plan, times to eat, if he wants to try intermittent fasting while he's on tour, what to eat when he's on tour, which is the hardest thing, is figuring out the right foods at the right times to maximize the best way for it to enter your body and shit like that. When to have the energy, when not to. When he said he was sluggish at 160, I'm assuming you basically starved yourself. 1-2 meals a day, 100+ ounces of water, and the water drinking just to stop your stomach from saying, I need food, please.
I'm hungry.
All that shit. Yeah, we'll talk.
Okay.
But yeah. What else you got, Rob? We've stolen nearly 90 minutes of this future legend and current champion's time. What else do you have?
I want Boog to be included in the Imbecile of the Week because he's such
let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's time for everybody's favorite segment.
If you guys don't know how to use a seatbelt, just ring your call button and Tommy will come back there and hit you on the head with a tack hammer.
You know, Lloyd, just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber.
Here's the Imbecile of the Week.
Some people are really stupid.
All right. Now, the reason why I wanted to include Boog in this is because it actually comes from one of the PBA posts where some people were talking trash about the Boogster.
I will say this win was a lot nicer than Delaware.
Well, that is true. No,
the comments were a lot better than Delaware for sure. We read a lot of them on Sunday night. And I was like, dang, this actually feels pretty good. Like, no one's like saying I'm a crook or I stole something. Like, I actually earned this one.
That little clip I played of you after your win with the Hammer rep, where they mentioned Booglin. I had never actually heard that nickname, but
Dude,
I don't think we asked you the first time. Did that shit bother you?
No and yes. Know that I won. They can't take it away from me.
Right.
It was just annoying to see it and hear it. But if it happened again, I was going to play into it and be like, okay, yeah, sure.
Right. I mean, look, you did what the lane gave you, right? You didn't have a choice. Like, you're fucking lofting it like Robert Smith out to the fucking arrows. Like, sometimes you have to do that. I mean, you're not the first person, obviously, to ever do that. So fuck what they say.
Yeah. I agree.
All right. So we put up a viewer poll, actually. So it's the first time we had done that. I put the screenshots of some of the assholes that I found on that thread. And I don't remember exactly what the thread was, but I'll throw up the comments from the winner. It was overwhelming with 29 votes. Let's see. Let me start here. Where is the first one? There we go. Al Willem. I thought I was watching two handicap league bowlers. Has to right, Johnny? Like, that has to be one of the dumbest fucking things I've ever seen. Like, these guys are at the
Thank God it was
level.
muted for what I just said.
Right.
Anybody that reads lips, go on. Sorry.
So later on, Alex George said, "Al Willem, buddy, you got rolled over today. Like, you get rolled over today, which means this fucking guy's a jackass. Like, he can't compete at the highest level." And then Al goes on to say, "Believe what you want. It doesn't change the fact that pro bowling is a low-level part-time gig for high school dropouts and the unemployed. You probably got into it because you failed at real sports and had marginal academic success. That's okay. Someday you'll be able to move out of your parents' basement."
Yo, that's crazy. That's wild. I'm pretty sure.
Wait, Bug, one moment. Bring that back up, Rob.
Sure, Johnny.
Can we zoom in on his photo?
Yeah. Looks like a senior bowler, man.
Looks like he's holding on. Forget his age. It looks like he's holding a bowling pin.
Unfortunately, I can't. Yes, he is holding a
So this man is holding a bowling pin, which means he gives a shit about bowling.
Right.
And then at the same exact time, he's saying, "We're unemployed dropouts." Al, do me a favor. Go fuck yourself on behalf of myself. Now Boog can say whatever he wants. Al, you, with that one fucking post, Al, you figured out a way to tell our good friend now, Dan Young, that he's nowhere near the biggest imbecile we've ever had.
That's right.
You definitely told Doc Sullivan that he's in the running for not being the biggest dick we've ever had. Al, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? How do you contradict yourself in the same exact post? Now I'm done. Ew, that's fucking gross.
That's talent for him to do that, seriously.
Yeah. That was a good one. I love that.
Our friend Moselle Henry found this screenshot from Al's account. Says,
"Hi, Moselle, we love you."
My favorite person in Congress, Representative Jasmine Crockett, Democrat from Texas. To which Moselle sent me this too. Albert Andrews says, "Almost anyone with a D." Al said, "Mrs. Crockett visited me in jail to let me know that she and attorney Lee Merritt were working on getting my bail posted and out of there." So apparently Al is in the clink. So it gets better.
Let me see if I can figure out a way to change my name before we close the show. You know what? I'm going to leave and come right back real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. So yeah, this guy is a winner. So I had commented down below, Al, you have been nominated for this week's Imbecile of the Week. Tune in to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern to see if you won. He said, "If I did tune in, would it boost your number of listeners to double digits?" I mean, this guy is a real
piece of work.
He's a real piece of work. He's kind of a tool bag.
Yeah.
So Chris Kondo said, Al was a World Series of Poker dealer. Having supervised poker dealers in the past, any story is taken at a 10% truth level. He also gets my vote.
That's funny.
So congratulations to Al Willem. Not only are you this week's Imbecile of the Week, but you're also up for running of greatest imbecile of all time. Let's see what Johnny has. Al,
you suck.
You suck. That's fair.
Love it.
Seems more fitting.
Yep.
I don't know if you caught the last part, Johnny. One of our friends of the show said he's actually was a World Series of poker dealer, and anything you listen
actually
to
makes more sense now.
Yeah,
he actually has to deal with degenerate gamblers all day, every day.
Yeah.
Want to talk about? No, I don't want to say anything else. I actually respect poker players. It's a tough ass.
I do too. Do we put him above Doc Sullivan?
I don't respect Al.
Right.
Al sucks.
Do we put him above Doc, or what? What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Doc. I mean, give him a pass. He didn't like John Mazza.
This guy sucks, man. Yeah. I actually want to call him and tell him he sucks.
Yeah.
I was hoping he would have tuned in, Johnny. I gave him an invitation to show up. I told him he was nominated and when to show
Al,
up.
I'm publicly calling you out on social media. You want to come here and defend yourself? I'd be more than willing to listen to you. But as of right now, from my vantage point, you're worthless.
Can they get like live streams in jail?
Meanwhile, we're asking the PBA Playoffs Champion to sit here while we bust somebody right now.
Dude,
I like what he just said.
The reason he's being quiet about it is we shouldn't do this to Book, with all due respect.
No, I mean, I graduated high school. I got a job. We bought this house.
See, you were already a success before.
I've had a pretty good life, Boog. My dad, who never went to college, happens to be the 16th greatest bowler of all time, and I've somehow figured out a way to live off his legacy. I may be a fucking scumbag lush, but he's not.
Whatever.
So,
Boog, you were already a success before you won your tournaments, and now you're even.
Stop sucking my left ass cheek. Are we done with Boog?
I'm talking about Boog.
Can we say something nice before he goes?
I am. I was talking about Boog, not you, you jackass. I said Boog.
Sorry.
Boog was already a success.
Exit stage, right?
No, you're staying here. But he's a bigger success now. But he doesn't have the big head on his shoulders. At least not yet. But I don't think that's ever going to happen.
We're just losing hair.
Oh, dude, don't tell me about it.
It happens, dude. Trust me. My hairline used to be here, and now it's like it just keeps going this way.
It keeps going, and
yeah, wear a lot of hats, bro. That's what I do.
Don't wear hats. That'll stop the follicles from actually curing.
That's true. I went bald at 22, so
I've never actually seen your head. That sounded filthy.
Do you want to see my head, Johnny?
I do. In the words of Kyle Troop, I do.
Welcome to Straight Up 5 After Dark.
All right, Rob, sign us
We'll
off.
save that for off air, Johnny. I'll send you a head pick.
I'll start on behalf of myself and Ocho. Boog, congratulations on, I'm assuming, one of the best years of your life, dude, and it was a pleasure to watch, dude.
Thank you.
Absolute pleasure, and looking forward to seeing what you're going to bring for the rest of your career.
Thank you.
From both of us.
I will hook you guys up off air as well, Boog, so you can get on your fitness journey. And just, dude, from a bowling fan, it's been a really fucking cool thing to get to know you and to call you a friend and to see your success this year, dude. Our hats are off to you. Like, seriously, like it's a storybook year for you. And you're only 28, right?
28, yeah.
Fuck me. You got so much time left, dude. Seriously. Like, we're looking forward to seeing what you do in the future.
That's so badass.
You're our number one guest, brother. We'll definitely have you on more often. But and I'll keep in touch with you. Like, let us know what's going on this summer. If you win any fucking regionals or, take somebody for $6,000 in action, just shoot us a text.
I will.
All right, brother. Thank you, Boog. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
The 2024 PBA Playoffs Champion, David Boog Krol.
Thank you, guys.
Good night, sir.
Good night, brother.
Good night.
Oh, Johnny P.
Like him more and more and more the more we talk to him.
What a fucking badass kid, dude. He is.
It's like we say it every single week. He's real. He's real, and he's already taking strides and doing the right things to better and prolong his career. It's so cool, dude.
It's remarkable the composure that he's had this year, especially having to go through all the PTQs, right? And finally get that breakthrough win in Delaware and be like, you know what? I really think I could fucking do this. And then to be number 9 and 9 in points.
Yeah.
And going through everybody like he did, dude. Going through
Forget
EJ.
about being number 9. He had to be pumped that he was in the top 16.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No, for sure.
Just right there is a spark. It's something being shoved up you. Like, let's fucking go now.
Right.
Let's work.
And you know, I
just heard
told him
Ocho react to what I just said. I heard. Ooh.
I texted him and said, you know,
too.
I texted him and said, EJ's beatable, bro. Like, we know he's the best in the world right now, but like,
everybody's beatable in one game, but when you have to win one game 3 or 4 times against the best in the world,
yeah,
it speaks. Like he said earlier, it's like it's combating a stepladder.
Yeah,
you know, you're winning the tournament so many times to win it once. Like I always say about the Masters, but
and prolonged over 2 weeks, like in 2 different centers. That's fucking nuts, dude.
He deserves it.
He does.
He earned it. He earned it all season, and it's the culmination of his hard work. And now all he wants to do is work harder. I respect anybody like that in whatever they do. So, hats off to Boog.
Absolutely, Ricky Smith, appreciate it, brother.
Thank you for always being here. It's people like you that actually make this show fun. So, Ricky, thank you for the compliments, brother. Nico, another guy. Always happy to have you here. Rob, before we know if you're going to be at the PWBA next week.
Yes, I am. I will be in Smyrna, Tennessee at Smyrna Lanes. They're going to have a women's tournament there for the PWBA or WP. God damn. I always get it mixed up. It should be.
That's okay. It's okay.
It should be the WPBA. I don't know why they named it the way they did. But yes, I'll be there for the event. Nate Bolton. We should call him Nate Bolton from now on. That's fucking hilarious. Nate Garcia and Elise Bolton will be there. Elise will be bowling in the tournament. It's 15 minutes from my house, so I'll be going and hanging out with them for a couple days. Are
you going to invite Al Woolham?
I should. I need to message Al and find out where he lives. So
there's a great TikTok video that's been going around where somebody offers ice cream on a cone, and she says, "I wanted chocolate." Oh, you did? And the worker takes the vanilla and launches it at the other worker right in the face. It gets stuck. That's what I want to do to Al Woolham. I want to throw ice cream at him as hard as I can so it sticks on his face. Al, you're a dick. Let's go. I'm done.
You're a dick. Next week, we have Kevin McCune on the show.
Oh.
PBA bowler. We're going to talk about his season. Looking forward to getting him on the show. He agreed to it a couple months ago, but he said, hit me up after the TOC and all that once we're all done. So
if he gives us shit, I'll just call Eugene and say, look, I'll release the video of Eugene and I singing Great White, Once Bitten, Twice Shy in Detroit 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I'll blackmail Kevin through his dad, which people do to me with mine. So
I can imagine. Yeah, I absolutely can imagine.
It's payback. Yeah.
So Ocho, for the Ocho. He is
for Ocho, on behalf of Ocho and myself, thanks to all of our viewers, and you guys are the best. You make this worth it. So love you all.
And I love you guys too. Thanks for your kindness this week. And we will see you next week. We will have Kevin McCune on the show next week on Straight Up 5.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. You can follow the show on Twitter at StraightUp5Pod. Follow Johnny Jr. at JPJR07. Follow Rad Rob at Rad Rob Gaming. And follow Dr. Ocho at the Dr. Ocho. Got a question for Johnny? Send your questions to StraightUp5Podcast@gmail.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. Right here on the Rad Rob Radio Network.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
If you're a facilities manager at a university, you know students rely on the cafeteria for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the occasional late-night snack. So when a dishwasher breaks down and dirty plates pile up, the mess hall can turn messy in the blink of an eye. Enter Grainger. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast delivery, the product you need now is never far away. So you can turn that dishwasher back into a lean, clean washing machine. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.